It's working.
Working, thank you. Welcome to the webinar about moving from our inner critic to intuition. It goes around the dialogue of our internal dialogue and how we then become aware and how we can change it. So I would like to welcome you all here and also the ones on the recording. And I will share my screen with you now. Sorry about I just checked them. Yes, good. It is working. So that is our topic for today, from the inner critic to intuition. How to train your inner dialogue with intuitive intelligence. I'm Doris Mounsey, and over the last decade, I have worked as a kinesiologist, a Drew yoga teacher, and for the last 2 years as certified intuitive trainer, teacher for intuitive intelligence, and I run workshops and retreats. So this is all about my background, and I'm so glad to be here and to take you through a webinar where we get a feel for how the inner critic is talking to us and how we can change it and how intuitive intelligence flows into that. So it's our awareness of these inner unhelpful thoughts. We all have them. They just come up and sometimes they are circling around in our head. And how do we program our brain? Can we interrupt them? Can we become boss of our inner dialogue? And what aspects of the inner dialogue come in through intuitive intelligence? Let's go on the journey. So that is what we are covering today. How to recognize the inner critic dialogue, how to catch yourself, change the internal vibes, choose new thoughts, and build a positive, practical, and productive inner dialogue, which supports us and brings us back into balance and into alignment so that we are connected to our inner wisdom. I quite like to call it heart wisdom. Our innate knowing, our intuition, and that is where we are connecting to. Definition of internal dialogue. So the official definition is that it is a person's inner voice which provides a running monologue of thoughts while we are conscious. But it is also tied to the person's sense of self. So we have this running conversation going on, but it is also really deeply connected to our self-image and how we like to project ourselves in the world, how we like to be seen. It also has a very practical function. So we need our internal dialogue because it helps us with planning. It is necessary to solve problems and to recognize when we can make improvements, when we can learn. Reflection, how we can make things better, not to repeat mistakes again, or reflecting back on situations and digesting them. Our self-image, how we talk, how we present ourselves. It helps us with critical thinking and evaluating emotions. And that is a very important angle of it. Our emotions are so necessary, and it is necessary to acknowledge them, to feel them, to learn from them, to express them. But then the aspect from intuitive intelligence is that we know the point when we want to move out of an unhealthy emotion, when we go into the circle with our emotion. It's knowing and discovering where and when we want to get out. I use the analogy of a radio in our head. So a radio has different channels. And one of these channels is our inner critic. And we have this inner dialogue, and we can sort of choose through the channels. And going back to the other slide, so we have a channel for planning. We have a channel, a station for problem solving, for self-reflection, self-image, critical thinking, and evaluating our emotions. So when we use this analogy, we have a dial, and we can sort of move through these with awareness. And when our inner critic comes up and it's looping in our head, we can change channels. Also, I would like to share a little bit of science here with you. And also in my 10-week programs, Awaken Your Intuitive Intelligence, we also will go deeper and look into the scientific aspect of intuition, the scientific aspect of spirituality and vibration. So here on this short webinar, we look at brain waves. So brain waves are like audio waves, and they are within our head, and they are called brainwave-states. So the first one here is called beta. And the beta brainwave state is when we use our mental and emotional intelligence. So that's when we are busy doing things, being in the world, functioning well in our environment. There's another one called high beta brainwave state, and that is when we go into stress, when we are in fight flight. And that is good when there's a real emergency, but when there's only stressful thoughts bringing us into this higher beta brainwave state, that's when we want to switch down. And going down into the alpha brainwave state, that is when we are relaxed, when we are balanced, and when our nervous system is calm. So it's called the rest and digest mode of the parasympathetic nervous system. That is when we breathe slowly, and when we go into a light state of meditation, when we are daydreaming, when we are in yoga or doing something else, which really relaxes us. And one state deeper is the theta brainwave state. And that is the state when we are having ideas, when we are creative, when we are in flow, or when we are in a very deep meditation and silence. Sometimes also we are in sleep here. And then there is delta brainwaves, and that is the state of deep sleep. And talking about these intelligences, I have them sort of matched, mental and emotional, to beta. Alpha is the brainwave state when we connect to heart intelligence, when we listen to our heart. And theta is when we go deeper and go into this deep silence. And the silence where we can hear our intuition, when we can hear our inner knowing and our heart wisdom. And the most important tool and the foundational tool for intuitive intelligence is Heart-Congruence. Heart-Congruence gets us into the brainwave state, first into the alpha and then deeper into the relaxation. And Heart-Congruence was developed from the Heart Math Institute in America. They call it Heart-Coherence. So there are lots of studies, and the Heart Math Institute uses Heart coherence in the corporate world. So they go into this meditative state. Heart-Congruence we use here with touch on the body. So we place our hand over the heart or 2 fingers in the middle of the chest, signaling our physical body that we would like to go deeper. That is the difference between Heart-Congruence and Heart-Coherence. So here in a group of women, we are safe enough to touch our body here in Australia. And this Heart-Congruence helps us to change our vibration and to connect to our inner sacred heart space. I will talk a little bit more about the inner critic now to activate it, and then we experience Heart-Congruence together. So what we want to do is move away from our critical looping thoughts into hearing our heart voice, listening deeper and connecting with our inner wisdom. And when we are in this inner critic state, so we are activating that now so that we can feel and enjoy Heart-Congruence later on. Inner critic comes in and its function is to stay safe. The inner critic wants us to be in our box, to be safely in there. The voice is there to protect us from fear, or to tell us when we control everything, we are in control. It comes in with messages of not leaving the comfort zone. It wants to be the box, the comfort zone, everything is good. So when we go and we discover something new, when we try something new, something which is daunting, then this inner critic comes up, showing us the fear of something new. And a major other part of intuitive intelligence is moving away from fear, recognizing that is a fear-based thought. And in the course, we explore 8 different practices and techniques to move away from fear to calmness and love, to this really beautiful state of balance and alignment. And another thing the inner critic doesn't like is change. It wants to stay everything safely the same. So when these things are coming in to our life, and they happen daily, we can't control everything. And especially since last year, it's just not possible. And change happens within hours. There are new rules. So that is about flowing and moving with it. The other aspect of the inner critic is saying, who are you to do these new things? To move out. So thoughts about not being good enough, not being clever enough, or inserting the word here, that's the inner critic talking. The self-critical thought patterns, or the self-sabotaging ones, getting distracted, procrastinating, and telling us stories, going back to old stories and rehashing them. That is inner critic. The other part of the inner critic is you can't do that because we want to please others. From early childhood on, we are trying to be the good girls, to fulfill expectations of others, expectations of group, or expectations of the society. We want to fit in because when we fit in, we feel safe. But also, then we are not really authentically ourselves. So there is this dialogue going on. Now, how do we change the channel? How do we move from the inner critic radio to the heart state? To this balanced state where we connect inside. This is the heart voice. And that is when we go into the brainwave state, when we change from the high beta, when we are under stress, down to mental, and then down into the feeling state. When we work with our heart, we are in the feeling state. Our heart feels. And when we feel calmness here, then we enter the alpha brainwave state. And heart intelligence is all about feeling and creating that state and this stillness and this calmness so that we can hear our inner wisdom and our inner knowing. So that is where we tune in. We go into heart first, and then we go into intuitive, where we hear, where we are connected to our heart. And what happens to our body when our body, our heart, and our brain works together? We slow down the breath. We put our hand over the heart space. And then with closed eyes, we go into the sacred space of the heart. And here we feel, I think that's the next slide. Yes. We focus on the feelings of gratitude, compassion, freedom, or joy. And we bring these words into our heart space and feel them. And feel it, this feeling state then creates calmness and silence. And when we go deep into that silent state, then we activate the theta brainwaves. And that's when we reach our inner still point, where we hear our intuition. Now, that is the point where I would like to take you through an experience of heart congruence. I invite you to have a sip of water and then find a comfortable position in the chair. I will take you through a 5 to 6 minute meditation and heart congruence experience now. Let's settle in our seat, connecting to the sit bones, connecting the soles of the feet to the earth. And from here we take our awareness from the sit bones to the sacrum, the lower back, the middle back, the upper back, aligning our spine to the natural curve, letting the shoulders sink, aligning the neck by just tucking in the chin slightly allowing us to lift the crown of the head to the ceiling, finding the best alignment, the most comfortable alignment for our spine. From here, we go to the breath. We take 3 deep breaths, starting with breathing in through the nose, filling the belly as much as possible. If it's comfortable, we hold the breath for a moment and then let it flow out with an audible sigh. Taking another deep breath in through the nose, filling the belly as much as possible, holding, and then letting go with an audible sigh. The last big breath, taking it in through the nose, filling the belly as much as possible, hold, and letting it flow out with an audible sigh. Now connecting to your own breath rhythm. Gently feeling the breath coming in, deep into the belly, and then flowing out again. Your breath, your rhythm. Now I invite you to think about which word you would like to choose for this heart congruence. Is it gratitude? What feels right for you today? Gratitude, appreciation, compassion, freedom, or joy? I will guide through gratitude. Taking the word gratitude, or whatever your word is today, and put it into your heart space. First, now, we take our hand and place it over the heart space. Sorry, I forgot this important step. Now feel the physical touch of the hand and your heart space. Bring your awareness in there, the touch of your hand and the heart. Bring your breath into that space, breathing in and out. Breathing into your heart space and breathing out from the heart space. Becoming aware of that space, how that feels for you. And now is the time to come back to your word, placing your word into that sacred space, the cathedral of the heart. Beautiful. Now connecting to the feeling state of gratitude. Feeling gratitude in your heart. How is gratitude feeling? And when you connect it to that state, expand the feeling state. With your next breath, easily, gracefully expand it. Fill your heart, your whole physical heart, with a feeling state of gratitude. And from there, easily, gracefully expand it. Feel your tummy letting it flow down your trunk. Expand into your hips, down your legs, your knees, to the soles of your feet and the tips of your toes, your whole lower body. Expanded in the feeling of gratitude. Now bring your awareness to the base of your spine and easily, gracefully let this feeling of gratitude rise. Your lower back, middle back, upper back. Let this feeling expand down your arms, your elbows, your lower arms, your hands, to the tips of your fingers. And from there, with the next breath, easily and gracefully, bring this feeling of gratitude up into your neck, your throat. Let it rise up into your head, filling your face with gratitude, filling your whole head. And gently feel this expansion into your skin. Feel your whole physical body now in the feeling state of gratitude. And now with the next breath, we extend that feeling into our subtle body, into our energetic body around us, filled with a feeling of gratitude. And now having your whole body, your physical body, your emotional body, your mental body, and your spiritual body filled with gratitude. We go deeper into a 2-minute silence now. Staying with a feeling of gratitude. Now slowly deepen your breath. And when you are ready, inviting your senses to come back. Connecting to the feeling you have created. Feel the state of gratitude. That feeling state of heart congruence. And I invite you to create a memory of it. Allowing your body to remember. And knowing that with this simple heart congruence, You always can come back to your heart, to your inner wisdom, and to your inner knowing. That is the state where you are open to your own intuition. And now, when you are ready, deepen the breath and gently invite movement back into your body. I just enjoy being in this experience, and I just love creating this experience and sharing that. Now, may I invite you to share with me and the other people who would be seeing that, how Heart-Congruence felt for you, Ludwina.
Hello. So just for your information, I've only just started a couple of weeks ago to meditation. It's very new for me. So I'm still trying to fully understand how it works. I think at this stage for me, it's being aware that I've got all those thoughts coming up and trying to, not to push them away, but to be neutral so that I can actually focus on the body and their heart space, trying to understand as well what their heart space is. So I was really trying to just be in the moment and not trying to worry about those thoughts, let them be around, but not focusing on them.
Yes.
So, yes.
Oh, thank you. Yes, and it's a beautiful description sort of to coming in. And when we feel, that is the state of feeling changes the vibration. And that also is the state where our thoughts become quieter.
I would say that it's that time of the day when you can kind of reflect on what's been going on, but with allowing you to detach yourself as well from, let's say, the drama, so that you can maybe witness what has been going on without experiencing the very strong emotions that could bring, like triggers as such.
Yes.
So yes, and it's a good space to plunge into another realm and really connect with, I think, the universe as such. So yes, it's really nice.
Yes, yes. Thank you. And when we practice that, that is part of the course. We start every session going into Heart-Congruence, because that is also the state where we can learn the best, when we bring our brain into the theta state. We get the information, it just comes in and the brain integrates beautifully. So we learn and we start from that state, and the whole session then flows about this beautiful knowledge and this empowering knowledge.
Would you like to share your experience with that meditation with us?
Pardon? Can you repeat that, please?
Would you like to share your own experience about this meditation we've just done?
Yes, yes. For me, it is this. I'm sort of 3 years in now. For me, that is the meditation I start my day with. In the morning, before I get up, I sit up in bed, get into the spine alignment, and sink into my heart space. So that is my tool, my go-to tool to keep me aligned. And when for now, it really got me back into that state of bliss, internal bliss, and everything is aligned. Even it is okay that I forgot in the beginning to say, put your hand over your heart. But that doesn't matter. We just come back to it, put it there, and then go into the feeling state. And I feel very relaxed now, but also switched on and aligned. And that's where my passion comes from, to share this knowledge and bring it out. It is a knowledge which can be integrated in every other modality, or it's just a life tool. And every one of the 6 students from the last course has integrated it differently in their lives, but they have it as a go-to tool. It's always there. We just need a quiet space and we can sit and get us back. We can find a quiet space at work. We can sit in our car before we go out into a shopping center. It is there. It's a life tool. And your body knows and says, yes, let's get us back. Let's get clarity. Let's go into heart-congruence and connect to the inner wisdom.
Thank you.
Nothing else is important. Coming back to the heart. Yes. Do you have any other questions? So thank you for letting my experience be shared too.
No, I don't have any questions for now.
Good, good. There is a second part of there. I share the screen again. And we are here. The next part is about how to calm the inner critic and how to do that nicely and effectively. So I use the analogy here that the inner critic is like a puppy. It wants to play. It wants the attention. It's almost like with his big paws jumping around. Look at me, what I'm doing. Or we call it monkey mind sometimes. It's this busyness. And it's this untrained puppy which wants to keep us safe. It's like a guard dog and say, no, no, you stay where you are. Here is safe. But the world is changing around us. And it's important to flow with it. So to train this puppy is part of intuitive intelligence. And how to train it? It's like with kindness and patience and with strong, firm love. The same you would use if you would like to train this little gorgeous puppy there. It is so cute, but it needs rules. It needs kindness and it needs patience to say, no, now is time to sleep. We're going to bed now. Or now you need to be quiet. So I need a little bit of stillness. So you go to sleep. And in 10 minutes after my Heart-Congruence, you can come back. And then we play again. And then you can bring up all this internal dialogue, which is helpful and practical and keeps my life flowing. So that's the approach I like to use. And that is sort of where we are boss, where we take charge to switch this channel, to talk to the puppy and say, no, now it is time to stop, to shut up. We need time now during meditation, or we need time to sleep now. The busyness of the thoughts to go away. because we want quiet, peaceful sleep or a quiet meditation. We want to go inwards to listen to the heart. We want to come into that part of the heart. And this puppy has to learn to shut up for 10 minutes or for the night. And then when we tell him, it can come back. Then it's allowed to play again. And here, something happened to Ludwig. I hope she comes back. Let's go, and there were internet problems. Good. So these are the training steps. The first step to train our inner puppy is to acknowledge that we have heard it, that we are aware, yes, the inner critic is active. It's talking to us. It's behaving like a puppy. It is the monkey mind. Yes, there. Hello, welcome back.
I don't know what happened. I can't see you anywhere.
Oh, I can see your name. Can you hear me?
No, I can't. I'm going to leave and come back because I have no idea what happened here.
Oh, yes, yes. Come out and get in again. Resume recording now. So we are back and we are at the puppy training. The first step of the busy mind. But I can see you now.
Okay.
Can you see the screen or can you see?
Yes, I can see the screen. All good.
All good. Thank you. So the first step we're going through now is that we acknowledge our inner critic, that we are aware that it's speaking, that it's bringing up the fearful thoughts or the not good enough thoughts or the pleasing thoughts. Yes, I better say yes, even if I don't want to really do it, but I'm better be the good girl. So if we recognize that going in our brain, that's when we want to connect to our inner wisdom. And that's when we acknowledge the puppy first. So the inner critic, the puppy, or the monkey mind, this busyness, which wants to keep us safe. So that is the training step number 1. We hear it, it is there. Then we go to step number 2. Now we need to go into heart-congruence. We need to find the stillness so that we have clarity of thoughts again and know what we really want. And for that, we tell the puppy we need some quiet time. We need 10 minutes, we need 2 minutes. We want a good night's sleep. So that's the second important step for the busy mind. It wants to know how long it has to be quiet. And then we tell it it's allowed to be back. We want it. And we invite it back in when we need this self-reflection or this planning or the good things of our internal dialogue. And then we tell him we play again. And now coming to the third step. The third step is remembering that we are in charge of our internal dialogue, that we are boss of that, and that we can choose to which dialogue we listen. And that we can say, yes, I need some quiet time now. or I'm going into planning and I'm planning safely without inner critic thoughts along. So we're coming to the last 5 to 10 minutes, and I would like to summarize this. So we have talked about our internal dialogue, that it is like stations, that we have different dialogues going on. And sometimes when we get stuck into reoccurring thought patterns, which are not helpful, then we can train this dialogue, we can switch the station, we can take charge. And when we need clarity or alignment or balance or calmness, we can go take ourselves into heart-congruence. We can take ourselves into stillness, into that feeling state in the heart where we can hear our inner wisdom, our intuition, our heart voice, or whatever word you would like to use. And that is also the space from where we then go deeper into intuitive intelligence. Because when we have reached that stillness, we connect to our intuition. We hear, we connect to God and the universe. We can have this dialogue. And we know what is good for us, what is the best for us. And we can ask and we receive this knowledge. That is intuitive intelligence used practically in our daily life. And in March, on the 11th of March, I'm starting the second round of the online course. So this online course teaches the foundations of intuitive intelligence, which was founded by the Institute for Intuitive Intelligence in Melbourne, Dr. Ricky Jane Adams. So it's her website as well, and she has put this knowledge together. And it is like a philosophy, it is like sacred spiritual knowledge, and it connects us to the heart. And through the heart, we build this spiritual self-esteem. And we have unlimited access to our own knowledge when we go deep within our heart. And when we go there, we activate our intuition, and then we know what is right for us. We build this muscle, we build these skills in this 10-week course. And the next slide shows what is included in there. So we talk about the science of intuition. We go through the heart-congruence practice every single time. We talk about our inner senses, how we get intuition, which is called clairs here. Our intuition style, some hear, some see, and some feel, and others just know their intuition. So we spend a whole module on that. And the next 3 laws are the 3 immutable spiritual laws. And we go very deep into them. So the law of mentalism is the law of oneness. All is one. And then we go to the law of correspondence. As within, so without. As above, so below. That is how we communicate on an energetic level. And the law of vibration teaches us how to raise our vibration and how to hold a higher vibration, which feels better. which allows us to be in alignment with our authentic self. And just lifting that, being and knowing how to get this good vibe and come back to it regularly. And so there are guided visualizations and practices. Over the 10 weeks, we have a practical, we have the theory, and then we have a practical module. So we meet twice a week, once to go through the theory, and then once to answer questions and practice. And what we also practice is called the micro method. And the micro method is a short 3-minute guided meditation to get us out of fearful thoughts, to allow us to switch out of fear into heart congruence, releasing this fear of the inner critic. Having a tool when we feel fear rising up, we can use this practice and get back into flow state. So the dates are, it's starting on the Thursday, the 11th. And the enrollment is now open. And there's another session on the 25th of February to answer, where we go through where we go through the course, all the different topics, answer questions. And there's also a Facebook event there, and it gives you the Zoom link and the access to the recording. Do you have any questions, Lidwin?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. No, I don't have any questions at this stage. I don't.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for spending this time live with me. Thank you for visiting my webinar. And all the best. I hope this guidance, this heart congruence, has helped you and has given you enough information. Let it settle and
yes,
wonder. If you have any questions, you can message me and I'm happy to answer them at any stage later on. Thank you so much, and I will stop the recording now.